Hey, everyone. Sounds like you really enjoyed that. That's awesome. You had a good time? No, we could hear all the laughter and everything from backstage. It was pretty awesome. My name's Christian Blauvelt. I'm the deputy editor of BBC Culture. You know what is so cool is that, so you guys really enjoyed the movie, but you were actually watching it with the stars of the movie. Sam Rockwell and Ben Schwartz were right here watching it with you guys, so come on up. So nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. Ben, awesome. Cool.
You won an Oscar. You should
Gorgeous creature. Does anybody have to urinate? Please do if you need to. Don't
do
worry.
it while watching us. Yeah.
Go take a whiz.
Oh my God, this is such a fun movie, and you know, it's interesting because the characters you play here, I've seen glimmers of them in other characters that you've played before. Like both of you guys are so good at portraying kind of like just extreme overconfidence. You know, like.
Wow.
like you know, just have this kind of like amazing ability to just be like, you know, just crazy confident and project that on screen. Like, what do you think? What are you thinking of when you do that? You know, what's in your head?
What do you think of when you're being overconfident?
I think of you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Ooh, cool. For this one, I kind of just played, like, I always wanted to be moving. Like, if you look at my guy, he's always nervous or anxious or doesn't know what to do, and he's kind of always above his head but pretending that he's not. So anytime I was sitting, I was moving something. And then I just looked at Sam. Sam, to me, is like an inspirational god.
You know,
it is Sam, right?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Not Samuel.
No, just Sam. Yeah. Hey. Oh my gosh, that's my girlfriend. She's going to walk. It's Leslie Bibb. Yes. She's going to walk our dog.
I can't believe how well that worked.
It was amazing.
You guys planned that like 2 days ago.
Look at that.
We're like, wouldn't it be cool if Leslie had a little cameo in this Q&A?
How about that dress?
That's crazy. Oh, wait a second. Here's Daniel Day-Lewis with my keys. Daniel, what are you doing here? Oh, okay. Cobble some shoes. I'll see you soon. Bits. We like to do bits. Only for the SAG crowd. You know what I mean? Listen, we're either tier 1 or tier 2. We're trying to get health insurance. We're doing our goddamn best.
That was, oh my God. The timing on that was perfect. I was like all ready to like ask a question about Talladega Nights. I was like,
yeah. She's incredible in Talladega.
She's amazing.
So good.
Leslie
Baby
Bibb's
Jesus
great in
scene.
that.
There's a Baby Jesus line
She's
in
great
there.
in that movie.
Oh, it's so great. Oh, the tuxedo T-shirt, everything. It's so good. So yeah, I mean, this movie, it's so, you know, it's a throwback to a lot of like action films, action comedies from the 80s and 90s. I'm curious, you know, did you go back and watch certain movies to get into the headspace for this film?
I've seen all those movies so many times, but yeah, sure. Lock, Stock, and Barrel, and I feel like
Snatch, definitely.
Snatch
that's
for
in
sure.
that.
Yeah,
that's in
totally. And Something Wild, maybe a little bit of that vibe to it. Jonathan Demme vibe to it. What else? I don't know.
You know what we did when one of the cool things about doing this, because we're, you know, both from America, that we filmed in London, so we were in the same hotel right above each other, and we spent every day and every night together, and we would watch movies all the time. And there's some like classic films that I hadn't seen, and we watched Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid together.
We watched The Sting.
And we watched The Sting, and it was like just to keep watching movies and stuff like that, and being around each other made it, when the cameras are rolling, it made it so easy. Just because we're friends to begin with, and then to be around each other and become so close that you feel like family. Then when the camera's rolling, you trust the other person.
We had a great time with the entire cast, Al and Phoebe. We went out pub hopping with them, and we've worked together before. We did a Drunk History together. We did a movie called Better Living Through Chemistry. So yeah.
And a film called Everybody's Fine.
We were in a movie Everybody's Fine together.
We didn't work
that's
together.
True,
but that's
by the way.
right.
We were at the table read.
Good Lord.
That was the third movie I ever did. I was so nervous because it was Robert De Niro,
It's a great scene.
Sam Rockwell, Drew Barrymore, Kate Beckinsale, and it was like, and I was just like a skinny Jewish Muppet at the end of the table. But I had 0 credits. There's a very funny story that made me
at the read-through for that, right?
Yeah, I was so nervous.
De Niro was weeping at the read-through.
Yeah, people were crying and getting so into it. I remember it was one of my first big jobs. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be in, this is years and years ago. I was like, oh my God, that's it. I'm going to be in movies now. And I'm in a van coming back from the read-through, and I get a call from my agent. I'll never forget this. I get a call from my agent, and she's like, this is years ago. She goes, hey, how'd the read-through go? I go, it went really well. This feels so cool. Like, there's big sets, there's big table reads. She goes, great. You have a Starburst audition tomorrow for Starburst candy. So make sure you hit that at 10 a.m. I was like, oh, right. I forgot. Oh, of course, yeah.
Hey, don't knock it. Starburst has deep pockets.
Kidding me? You crazy? I would have killed for that job. Killed.
Well, I love that. Yeah, you were in kind of a Redford Newman vibe, you know, watching Butch Cassidy and The Sting, and so that's interesting. That's kind of what you were doing, you know, when you weren't shooting. But I love that Peter Ferdinando, who played Deacon,
he's amazing.
He's great,
mullet-haired villain.
He's very method, that guy.
The whole time.
Yeah, he did the voice the whole. He doesn't really talk like that. That's a Northern England accent. He doesn't talk like that, but he was in character the whole time. He wouldn't be like talking in the character, but he would talk in the accent as Peter. Yeah.
And for that scene where he gets slapped, he asked to truly get slapped. Yeah. So he got slapped for real over. That's why when you watch those takes, he's getting every one of those.
Peter's a great guy, but he's a really intense actor. Yeah. Yeah.
And the villain that was above him, his boss, we thought.
I love that guy.
He was. By the way, this is the first time watching it with anybody.
He's so good.
He was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
he was great. He was so good. It was very cool to watch with you guys. It was very cool to watch with an audience.
Yeah, it really was.
That was our first experience with that.
Really was.
I mean, have you?
Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
thank you. Great audience. My God.
Yeah, really good audience.
This is the first time you've seen this with an audience. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We've so far just watched it like on our toilets on our iPhones. You know, like how movies are meant to be watched. Streaming on. No. We've watched it other times, but this is the first time with anybody other than each other that we're watching it. Yeah.
So, Sam, you know, you do a little bit of a Cockney accent at times here. You had a way of that you ultimately kind of settled on like a particular style for doing that accent. How did you arrive at that?
Well, everybody loves to make fun of Americans doing Cockney accents, which breaks my heart. I think we do some good. I've done a couple in theater, but yeah, we were sort of harping on that joke, that Mary Poppins joke, you know, with Dick Van Dyke. And so, yeah, we obviously did a bad one. I did a bad one, yeah.
But it was like you settled on it when you were eating a sandwich? That's like, I should always
at the end,
eating.
I guess he kind of finds a way to do a semi-good one at the end.
And she alludes to it. Phoebe, who's incredible in this movie, says, like, it's if you're chewing on something, it becomes easier.
Yes, that's right.
That was a line of ADR we added. Yeah.
Wow. Metaphors.
It all really came together.
Yeah.
And it is Sam?
Yes.
Okay.
Eddie?
Sam Rockwell.
Yes.
Was that something that she just sort of ad-libbed? Because I know there was a lot of improvisation.
That line of hers?
Yeah.
That was ADR after we finished and looked at the movie. I think
Phoebe's amazing. She has all that exposition and all those monologues, and she would just rattle them off. And she's a theater gal. You know, she's very theater trained. She did View from the Bridge with Mark Strong on Broadway. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she's really amazing.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
And for those that have done exposition before, man, to do those long, chunky things, I find those to be the hardest to memorize because it's just you and you're listing stuff and stuff like that. She does it so beautifully, and she keeps you interested, and she keeps you on the storyline. So she's incredible in this movie.
Simon Callow and Al Weaver.
Yeah.
Simon Callow, great
Al Weaver's
actor.
great. Robin's great. Everybody's very good in this.
I mean, Simon Cowell is one of my favorite actors. A Room with a View, Mr. Beebe, just so fantastic. One of my favorite characters of all time. But so, I mean, you know, I'm curious. So Peter Ferdinando was in character the whole time doing the accent. Have you guys ever done that for any of your roles? Have you ever stayed in character when they?
Not really. I did a little bit of that on this Cheney thing with Christian Bale, but not really. It was just like talking in the voice. But
so
I'm not really a method guy, but yeah.
So you're playing George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Backseat,
We did a little
Dick
bit
Cheney.
of that, but I think Christian was pretty. He would stay in the dialect. So I tried to keep up with him, but I'm not really. That's not really my usual thing.
I did it. I'm on a show called DuckTales, and I live like a duck, and I commit as hard as I goddamn can. Because it's art what we're doing, and I don't know why you're just throwing it around like you don't care. I am a method actor. Every record I do in the booth, I've got 2 ducks under my arms because I'm a triplet in that. And I guess I just care a little bit more than Sam about the art. You know, SAG plus 10, scale plus 10 means a lot to me. So, you know, I'm sorry to shit all over you, but I guess that's what it is. No, I guess I really don't do that. You know what we do that I think is good? We'll play before the scene begins. Even if we're in our characters, we'll play before. So when they say action, we've already kind of been playing, and then we ramp into it. So it's never a cold. It's never like a go. It's like a we did it.
There were a couple things on the day that we figured out. Where you at the end, Ben was just going to punch the guy or kick the guy.
Oh yeah, you
ended up saying, "Why don't I just shoot him?" It was like right before we were about to roll.
Yeah, it was.
We were trying to come up with a cathartic moment for him because he's wimping out the whole time, and then have him kill one of the bad guys so that he has an arc, and we couldn't. And so he was going to kick the guy in the face, and then you came up with, "Let's just shoot him," and it was perfect. And
it was Hadi is the director, the writer, producer. He did everything, and to his credit, when we had ideas, he was all ears, which is not the case, especially with people that both write and direct. Many times they're very close to their words because they're the ones that have written it and they're directing their own words. As someone who's done it before, you're a little bit hesitant, but he was very open to our ideas, and that's a big change. We said, hey, instead of me doing nothing, I feel like I should have a redemption or moment.
No, and he was open to that.
Yeah, he was very
we did
cool.
some improv. I mean, he's an improv ninja. He studied at, what was it, Second City? Or
Upright Citizens Brigade.
UCB. And
what was the school you did? The Meisner School?
Yeah, the Muppet School, yeah.
Muppet School, right.
But he really is like a Vince Vaughn kind of Robin Williams kind of mind, Ben. I'm not,
we're in the theater.
We're serious, yeah. And you have this quality of, you're able to you make yourself sort of nebbish in this, but you're also cool. It's an interesting thing. Vince Vaughn does that a little bit in Wedding Crashers, where he has this Jack Lemmon kind of thing, and you do that really well in this movie. And it allows me to just sit back and kind of, mumble.
That's very nice of you. I'm not good at getting compliments.
No, it's true.
Speaking of studies, though, we have an audience question from Liza, and I love this question.
Liza.
Do you take no, just that's it. No last name. Eliza with a Z. Do you take acting classes on a continual basis?
Ooh, wow.
I assume that's a compliment. But
You do workshops. You do improv workshops.
I do. What I do is I continue to perform for free at Upright Citizens Brigade. I've been doing it since 2003, so I've been doing it for 15 years for free. And I feel that it keeps me sharp. So I write movies for studios also, and when I'm writing, I think improv helps me with everything. It keeps my brain sharp. It keeps my acting. When I'm acting, I feel like I'm on my toes a little bit more. So I'm doing that quite a bit, and I tour now with this guy, Thomas Middleditch, who's in Silicon Valley. We tour around America. We did Vancouver once, so we call it a world tour, but it was really just America. But that, to me, because we come from different schools coming up.
Yeah, but it's both improv-based. Meisner is improv-based, and I have an acting coach that I continue to work with. But I've been doing press with him today, and this is it. This is what it's like, and I just laugh all day.
A lot of fun today.
Yeah,
it is interesting because we come at scripts. Like Sam will have a script and he's so good and he's so prepared. I'm so envious of the way he gets into characters. And if you look at his scripts, he has notes on everything and he knows exactly. And even while he has the idea of the script and the character totally down, he's able to open himself up to play when there's playing. And for me, it's like the idea of memorizing what I'm trying to say, how I'm trying to say it, and if there's room for me to play, I will, and if there's not, I won't. And then like kind of feeling it fresh, like trying to do it. So doing it once or twice with him beforehand, then just going, just because that's kind of like how my training is. But together, it worked
we
great.
wanted to work out the kinks and have overlapping. We really desperately wanted to be in 2 shots with overlapping dialogue, and we made that very clear to Hadi. We thought that comedy plays in a 2-shot, and when you look at all the great, Stir Crazy or Silver Streak or Some Like It Hot or Wedding Crashers, and you see those duo, we wanted that dynamic in a 2-shot.
It's all about bouncing off each other, Yeah. I mean, Ben, your background is so interesting because you really came up more, like you mentioned briefly a moment ago, on the writing side. And I love this. So you won an Emmy in 2009
Yeah.
for writing Hugh Jackman's monologue at the Oscars.
I did. I wrote. It was me, Dan Harmon, who created Community, and Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, I think, is one of the best animated shows ever made. And me and Rob Schraub, and the three of us wrote. Do you remember when Hugh Jackman hosted the Oscars? He did this big musical opening
he did that
number.
jumping thing. He was jumping.
It was like the whole idea is he didn't have a lot. There wasn't a lot of money, but he's going to do this big musical number anyway. So I wrote that with those two guys. And we got nominated for 2 Emmys, which was so funny. It's such a funny thing to get nominated for an Emmy for writing for the Oscars. And then I made a one-stage play about it. I'm going after that EGOT. I'm trying to get that Tony. Yeah, so I started by doing UCB, and then I was a freelance writer for Letterman's Monologue, and then I was a freelance writer for Weekend Update. And then I published 4 books, and I kind of keep doing both. A, because I'm terrified that what happens if I can't get jobs acting, maybe I can get jobs writing and vice versa. And B, because I love being creative. I think I'd go a little bit nuts if I wasn't able to write or direct while I'm acting as well.
So how has your writing work informed
It's great.
your...
No, I'm sorry.
We know it's great, but how has it informed your acting? How has it informed your actual performances?
What a great question. This is insane. This is your first time ever doing this.
First time right out of the gate.
This is incredible. No, you've been doing this for a long time. How does my writing affect the way that I act? And not something I've written, but something else?
It's like when you get a script, it's like, does the writer part of you kind of like look at it? From
It will when on one side I know what it takes to write a script and how so desperately lonely it is to write and how hard it is to write, and the fact that if we're filming something, it means that it has been written and rewritten and is to a place. So I always respect that.
You wrote the line in the movie "The Ghost of Christmas Past."
Yeah, a bunch of the jokes.
That was your line. You wrote that line.
I punched up a bunch of movies in my day, and there's a couple of lines, but. I will say that when I feel like, oh, you know what, this needs something, or like that gunshot, I was like, this is a moment where a character would be redeemed. Sam and I would talk about it with Hottie, we would all talk about it, or this feels like da-da-da. I think that's where it's the most helpful. And if someone's like, no, I don't think so, I'm like, of course, it's your movie, of course. Yeah. But that's where, like, when we're playing with scenes and trying to find moments in scenes, that's where it becomes
Hottie
trouble.
was very generous in
he was great.
letting us just
he was very kind with that, yeah.
So, Sam, your journey has been so incredible. I mean, obviously, you won the Oscar earlier this year, Best Supporting Actor for 3 Billboards. Such an amazing performance. And this is probably, the first time people have seen you in anything else since, And so I'm curious. I mean, we have actors here at all different stages of their careers.
Yeah.
And, you really paid your dues. I mean, you worked your way up. It's so funny. I was looking at your filmography from the 90s and some of the roles that you played. You played at one point man-eating.
Is that true? In what movie?
What man-eating? What's that?
It was like in this anthology film. It was like New York
Godfather?
No, it was like New York Shore. You also played several times Thug, and then
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He played Thug.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a movie called Strictly Business with Halle Berry's first film. I was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I played the head thug.
That was my first sleepover. I watched that movie.
Oh.
My first sleepover. And you
Thanks,
got me
Ben.
so hot and bothered I couldn't
Thanks.
sleep for days.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. I was 25 when my first sleepover was at 25. I love this. I love going through your old ones.
Well, that was really impressive because you'd played several thugs before that, but then you
Last
were
Takes to
head
Brooklyn.
thug.
There was a thug.
So you'd gotten a promotion at that point. You were climbing the ladder, which was really good. But I think it's kind of amazing. Like, was there? You knew pretty early on that you wanted to act. I mean, like you were in like one of your mom's shows, like here in New York.
Yeah,
when
I was a theater kid for a second, and then I came to New York and I was working in restaurants, and I got an agent really quick, and like auditioning for commercials, and then but I didn't know really what the hell I was doing, so I went to school. I went to William Esper, and that's where I met my coach, and that's where I kind of got serious.
And like at one point you played Humphrey Bogart.
Oh yeah, when I was 10. When I was 10, Flo Ziegfeld and Humphrey Bogart. It was a sketch. My mom's was in this theater company, Joan Crawford's Children, and they did a play, and so it was a series of sketches. Yeah.
So I think that was like aired on TV. So was that how you got your SAG card?
No, that was no. I think I got my SAG card doing the Equalizer TV show.
Really?
Yeah, my character's name was Slick. So I made the brilliant
Solid
choice
name.
of slicking my hair back. A little on the nose. And Frank Whaley was in that. Jerry O'Connell.
Frank Whaley directed me in my first movie.
Did he really?
Yeah.
No shit.
New York City Serenade, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Frank Whaley, man. We have another
Jerry
connection.
O'Connell was in it. It was in that.
I love that. So it was for the Equalizer. It's so interesting, and it's slick. You know, it's a name that conveys substance. How did you?
He won an Oscar, Christian. He won an Oscar. And he should have won another one for Moon.
Oh my God! And Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. My
Never
God.
heard of it. Next.
What about you? What about you?
By
So-
the way, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, not only is that a great movie, your audition that made it on YouTube, I watched that so many times. It's so cool to see you in that. Thank you. If I don't get a Metro card out of this, nice. 2 Metro cards. Thank you. These are currency in New York, baby. Drop
Keep
this off at
talking.
a Zabar's, get a
There's
free.
more where that came from.
Legal tender. Absolutely.
Yes. Sorry, I apologize that I keep
No,
interrupting.
it-
We've been doing
it's-
press all day. We love each other very much.
That video is so amazing.
It's great. He's incredible.
Have you guys seen this? It's where it was his screen test for playing Chuck Barris in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, and he does this incredible dance. You're one of the best dancers in the movie.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like
thanks,
full
man.
stuff. Iron Man 2, when you come out as Justin Hammer at like this Apple style,
Literally
product
doing
launch thing.
the hammer dance, I think.
Oh, it's
Is that
it's
true?
so
The MC
great.
Hammer
I
dance?
mean, kinda.
That's
kind
amazing.
of some Charleston version of that.
That's amazing.
But then when it went viral, that was just the screen test for Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. So like that is how much you would rock just a screen test. Like now that you're an Oscar winner, like do you feel like you'll never have to do that again, or it's not that you had to do it? It's
I
that
think
you
if you're
had fun
hungry
doing it.
for a part, then you'll read if you're really hungry for Last time I auditioned was the Coen brothers for No Country for Old Men. And
wow, you didn't get it, huh?
I didn't get it. Josh Brolin got it. He's very good in it.
Yeah.
He's very good in it. He was the right man for that job. But I mean, that's something you read for. So you never know.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes you're reading each other too. That's another thing.
The director, you mean?
Sometimes you're kind of feeling each other out.
like, can you give an example of a time that's?
Well, I don't have an example, but you go. It's good to go to meetings and figure it out. It's not a bad thing.
It's definitely good to get on the phone with the director, Skype with the director, meet with the director, because you're going to be with that person for months. Yeah.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, Sam, you came up, paying your dues the more traditional way, going out for auditions for everything. Ben, I think, with your writing background, what's kind of interesting is that, you've also done web shows and YouTube series and all this. It's like you've also kind of shown that actors today, like, can just create their own material and perform that. Like, do you think that maybe it's a little bit easier in a way for being an actor now than when Sam was coming up?
I don't know if it's easier. I think that there is more expected of you now. I think that if you're coming up now, because we have phones that have cameras on them, if you want to, I think the opportunities are even bigger. If you want to act, you could put yourself on tape right now. We could make a video right now with our cameras and edit it together. And I think as times are going, it's even expected for you to do so. Don't you think? I think it's leaning towards you to be able to create, to make your own success is even more in your hands than it's ever been, because you can make something, then put it on a platform that anybody could see. That Steven Spielberg could see that video.
Well, Coppola said some little girl from Idaho is going to win the Palme d'Or or whatever. Didn't he say that in the Hearts of Darkness documentary or something? That in other words, everyone can make films.
Right.
So that's the good part of that.
That's pretty cool. Well, actually, so while we're talking about like your early stages, we have another question from Max Garfin here in the crowd. What advice would you give to a young high school actor trying to stand out from his competition? For both of you.
High school.
Yeah.
Loud clothes.
Loud clothes. I don't know. It's weird because I didn't start practicing. Jesus, I didn't start acting, or I started doing comedy at the end of college. But I kind of I was a psych-anthro major and stuff like that. So I didn't jump in. I was had no future for quite some time. Psych-anthro is not going to get me anything. But. So for me, when I was in high school, I was very happy to be in high school. When I was in college, I was very happy to be in college and concentrate on the other things. 'Cause I think it made me a better writer and an actor later on. and you don't get as obsessed. To me, being an actor when I was younger was like being an astronaut. My family's from the Bronx. My mom's a Bronx school teacher. My dad is a social worker. Then he was a real estate guy. So we never known an actor. We didn't know anybody. So it was like, oh my goodness, that'd be so exciting. But we don't know anybody that does that. You know what I mean? So it was so far out for me. But high school is young. But I think putting yourself out there. If you want to write, I always say write. If you want to be a writer and you want to write movies, write movies. You're going to fail at the beginning. I always say try, fail, learn, and repeat. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And I think it's the same with acting. Get on stage, because I think a lot of acting comes with you gain confidence the more you get out there, the more you take risks, the more you fail at those risks and find your voice and find how to handle certain situations, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did improv in high school. I was in a very terrible improv troupe. But I met Margaret Cho was in it.
Yeah.
Aisha Tyler, and
she's so funny, man.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But improv is terrifying. It's terrifying. Yeah, and that's a good way to kind of get your feet wet.
I think you got to do it if you want to try. If you really want to do it, you just have to do it.
And Ben, you're kind of expanding sort of the boundaries of acting in a way.
Oh wow, you're making me sound very important.
You're experimental. You're a boundary pusher. No, I just mean like in terms of not only the fact that you do voice work, but then like the interesting like character consulting that you did for creating BB-8.
Oh yeah, I helped out a little bit in Star Wars the
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. I was BB-8 is a little round droid in that. So I lived inside that ball for like 3 months. No, I helped with, at the beginning, J.J. Abrams, I think, is one of the most inspirational people in the universe. I think he truly is. I worked with him in Undercovers. He put me in my first TV show that went. We're doing a new TV show now. It's an American version of The Wrong Mans with me and Jillian Bell. We're going to do the pilot and hope that people care about it and pick it up. But for that, he said, hey, I want BB-8 to have a personality. So when I go to this droid and you hear these beeps and all these things, you feel him being happy, you feel him being sad, you feel him laughing, stuff like that. So we wrote lines. He wrote lines and I would improvise lines. And there's cuts of, at the beginning of Star Wars where when you see BB-8, instead of beeps and boops, it's me talking and saying lines as this person. And it didn't, and then he gave it to Lucasfilms, and when it came back, it didn't feel right. So we tried other things, and then it didn't feel right. And then I went off and I did a movie, and then Bill Hader came in and tried things. And then JJ figured out a way to make it work. But it's all that testing. It was all like he tested. One of the things I thought J.J. Abrams did that I found really inspiring is that he finished what will be the second highest grossing film of all time. Third, he just finished it. It wasn't done. He showed it to a lot of people. I was lucky enough to be one of the first people to see it. And then he did a test for young people, right? You know what I mean? And you'd think this movie that's going to make $1 billion, and he listened to every kid's note that they had. And he did, and he gave them a chance, and he goes, what did you guys like? What didn't you like? And these are 16, 17, 18-year-olds for some of them, and he listened to everyone. And I mean, who knows if he used any of the notes, but he listened to, I thought it was so inspiring. And then later, he decides what he really wants to do, but he gave everybody a chance. And I think there's people that are in his position that would be like, I don't care what these little kids are, but he listened and really cared. That's one of the things that I found really inspiring about him.
That's so cool. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I never heard that story before. Actually.
You don't know who J.J. Abrams is?
No.
I know you have like 2 books about Star Wars.
I know now. Yeah, exactly. That's right. I do. Thank you for mentioning. But it's.
Yeah. Is there anything else of yours you want me to pitch?
Oh, please. Yeah. No. Absolutely. That's so funny. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. But no, it's interesting. I just didn't know that JJ actually solicited that kind of feedback from the kids. I mean, that's really. I mean,
cool. It was I'm sure they were all friends or family or something like that. But it was for me. It was very inspiring because I was like, this is it. We're gonna see an early cut of, and it was like my second or third time watching it, and I thought it was so cool. I really thought that was so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a really smart dude.
Speaking of getting back to the dancing. A bit, because I'm obsessed with your dancing. I think it's so fantastic. You're playing Bob Fosse.
Oh
now.
Yeah, man.
This is a project you've been trying to get off the ground for a while, right? I mean,
That's right.
What really made you want to?
We just got Michelle Williams to agree to do it
as Gwen Verdon.
Yeah, that's very exciting. It's very exciting. So we're kicking into gear with that.
What is it about Fosse that just so attracted you?
Well, I mean, it's all that he's one of the dance icons, right? I mean, he's incredible. Just watch Michael Jackson. It's all there. Yeah, he was supposed to direct Thriller. Michael Jackson wanted him to direct Thriller.
Can you imagine that would have been so cool. And then you mentioned also playing George W. Bush. Like,
yes.
There have been so many different takes on George W. Bush. You know, so many different actors have portrayed him. What did you want to do that was different? Like, how did you find your George W. Bush?
There's so many people, like Josh Brolin and Will Ferrell knocked it out of the park, I thought. And there's this other guy, Frank, this is a comedian who's amazing. So I watched all the imitations initially and all the performances, and then I just sort of forgot about, and I just watched him and listened to him constantly. But yeah, it's daunting. I think I wanted to find his child quality. Yeah, his sort of his kid quality. And his a little bit of his innocence, hopefully. His innocence, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, as one final kind of parting thought, you know, we've got a room full of actors here. Do you have any encouragement or advice, like, about being an actor just at this moment, just as kind of a final thought?
No. Anything? I mean, is there anything?
Is there any particular?
Is there anything that anybody wants to know specifically?
Is there a question that anybody wants to ask?
I can't think of anything.
Yes.
That would help.
Oh, good question.
No, I did a little boxing, but I did not really. They taught me some of that stuff very quickly. But I had a great stunt double, this kid who did all those flying kicks and stuff.
He's being modest, though. He did do a lot of those. A lot of the fight scenes that are close that you see, the ones where he's jumping over tables and all that stuff, it's the other guy. But you were there for all the fights, and we did fight training.
We worked very hard on it, and we didn't have any time. We didn't have time on a movie called Mr. Right either, but we did a lot of fight scenes very quickly. And because of dancing and, you know, a little boxing, dancing, choreographing a fight scene is very much like a dance.
Yeah.
You know? It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to Hadi's credit, the director, this movie was a very inexpensive movie. Very inexpensive. But we have scenes in the Natural History Museum. We have people jumping from big heights, and he made
great stunt choreographer.
We did.
Amazing guy.
He turned not a lot of money into something that looked like, you know, pieces looked like huge action pieces.
No time.
No time. Zero time.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much
thank
for
you very
joining
much
us tonight. This has been awesome.
Thank you.